Hey everyone, welcome back to the Thundertron podcast. Today I'm actually going to be discussing and analyzing the most recent new trailer of the Transformers Rise of the Beast film. It was actually just released or revealed today, and I have to say it actually looks really cool. I'm going to actually say spoiler warning for this segment of the Thundertron podcast, because I know some people do not want to know any information before going into a movie. They want to go in completely blind, not seeing one trailer, so if you don't want to know anything, do not watch this segment just yet, because of course there will be spoilers. With all that out of the way, let's actually now get down to the breakdown and discussion. So I'm actually not going to be going frame by frame with this trailer. I'm really going to be talking about and discussing the key moments of this trailer. You know, everything that's like super important or stood out to me personally. So let's get right into it. So the first thing, of course, Unicron. He will be in this film, which I have to say is awesome. I have to say, I'm actually kind of surprised he was going to be in this one. I actually had a theory quite a while back. I think I did like a theory video or maybe some news video on Rise of the Beast. I'm pretty sure I did say I was thinking that the Terracons were like made or hired by Unicron. I was actually thinking he was like their master or their leader. That was one of my theories, and I'm actually kind of surprised I was right. And I was actually expecting Unicron to be maybe saved for the second or third film, because if you don't know, apparently confirmed by Paramount and the other people making this film, apparently it is supposed to be a trilogy. If you don't believe me, literally just look up on Google or whatever site you use, just look up, is Transformers Rise of the Beast going to be a trilogy? It'll give you the answer right there. So apparently it's going to be a trilogy, but again, as I said before, I was expecting, the big baddie to be Unicron, but I was expecting them to save it to like the last film, for the final showdown, but apparently he will be in this film. It actually does make me interested and question, will he die in this film, or will they make him last through this entire trilogy? We really do not know. But, yeah, that's one big thing we have to talk about. Another thing, a part of Unicron, is they actually did just recently announce, just a couple hours ago, there is a confirmed voice actor for Unicron. I don't remember the name, the person off the top of my head, but I did see the article on the Transformers news sites. It was, confirmed voice actor for Unicron, so he will be talking, or doing something, in this film using his voice, which is pretty interesting. I actually, when I first watched this trailer, my first questions were, who's voicing him, and will he transform into his full robot form? Well, we really don't know about the entire robot form just yet, but we actually did get to see his eyes and some of his face. So, if you actually do rewatch the trailer, I actually didn't catch it the first time. I've seen this trailer about 4 or 5 times. The first time, I didn't see it. I was actually kind of confused at what they were showing. There's a scene where Scourge is on this kind of like floating platform, and there's these two huge kind of glowing orbs, or kind of glowing circles, and I was wondering what those were, because it's pretty zoomed in, but when I rewatched it, I was like, oh my gosh, those are Unicron's eyes, and I thought that was the coolest thing. So I'm assuming maybe we'll actually get to see him in his full robot form. I think that'd be pretty cool. So, what he's doing in this trailer is actually kind of interesting. So, it seems like he'll probably be doing his typical Unicron thing, kind of like the 1986 movie, where he devours the planet, because he actually, in several scenes, looks like he's literally charging toward a planet. It actually kind of looks like he might be, like, destroying part of the moon in one scene. I don't know about that. Kind of looks like that to me. But there's one scene where Unicron is pretty damn close to Earth. Like, he's in the atmosphere. You can see him from Earth, so that's pretty scary. So he might get pretty close to achieving his goal, whatever his goal is. I'm assuming it might be basic, it might just be he wants to destroy Earth, he just wants to devour, or maybe there'll be something else. We really don't know. And I do have to say, a bit interesting that they're actually they're actually having a bit of a take, or a bit of a, change on the storyline with Unicron, because, like the Transformers The Last Night and the Transformers Prime series, and, of course, film, the Unicron we knew was actually inside Earth. That was the story, that was pretty much the main plot of the Last Night film. Of course, say what you will about that movie. This, of course, actually changes a bit, which I'm actually happy. I was a bit worried when they were talking about Unicron. I was like, oh, is Unicron going to be inside Earth again? I was going to be kind of against that, because it's like, that's too similar to The Last Night, but I'm actually happy to say that's not the case. It will be a separate, entity. He will not be inside Earth. He will be, I'm assuming, trying to destroy Earth. So, at least it's different in that aspect. But I do have to say, if I was probably directing this trilogy or making this trilogy, I probably would have saved Unicron for the second or last movie. That's just my opinion. But, he might not get destroyed in this film. It might be, it might end on a conclusion, a cliffhanger. It might end, abruptly, randomly. We really do not know. So, they might not destroy him. We really don't know. Another thing that's definitely major is we actually did get to see and hear the voice of Scourge, which I think is super, super cool. We already have a confirmed voice actor. We know who it is. We knew for a while now. But, you know, we didn't know how the voice would sound, we didn't know what it was going to be like, but we actually do get a very good shot. It's like a very open shot of Scourge, which is pretty cool, because the only other shot we've actually had of Scourge is that one scene, you know, where he's stabbing Bumblebee. We actually do see that scene repeated again in this trailer, which I have to say is a pretty cool looking scene. I'm assuming that's actually the famous museum battle we've heard about for quite a while now on the Scoo series packaging, and of course just in the media and the news. So I'm assuming probably that battle will be pretty major for this movie. But yeah, hearing the voice, that's always awesome. We actually do get to see him, I think, about 2 times, if I'm correct, in this trailer. So there's actually no, 3 times. Sorry, I'm correcting myself. There's one time we do see him, of course, speak. He's just kind of standing alone in the trailer on the screen. He's just kind of talking. The second time, he's actually emerging from water in the city. I'm not, of course, certain exactly where. We actually do get to see him emerge from water with Battletrap and Nightbird, which I actually think is pretty cool. And the third time, of course, is just that kind of repeated scene of him stabbing Bumblebee. So we've already kind of seen that before. Another major interesting thing is we actually do get to hear the voice of Airazor, and we did know the person playing Airazor for a while now. Again, kind of like Battletrap, not kind of like Battletrap, kind of like Scourge. You know, we knew who was gonna play it. We just didn't know what they were gonna do, like with their voice, how it was gonna sound. But now we know, so it's actually kind of cool. I do have to say, I do have a bit of a critique with with Airazor and Optimus Primal, because I know people have complained about the effects, like with the first teaser and this trailer. I think overall the effects look really good. I don't have any problems, but there is a few aspects where I do have a problem with, specifically when they actually have the scene of Airazor talking in her bird form. I know, of course, it's a fiction movie, so it's going to look odd, it's going to seem odd, but I think they could have done maybe a bit better on the effects with the whole mouth, because it seems a bit too off. I don't know, it just seems a bit off to me. Maybe they'll finish it, you know, with the entire final product when they put it in films. Maybe it'll look better, but as soon as they play that scene with Airazor, I was just like, okay, that looks a bit weird, but a very minor complaint. Overall, very, very impressive effects, no problems other than just that. And there was kind of one opening scene with Optimus Primal. I think it looked, it looks fine in other scenes, but there was one in this new trailer that just seems, again, a bit off to me, but maybe they'll fix it in the end result, hopefully. And another really major thing is actually Predacons. So this one has actually been kind of a long time coming. So the entire tease of Rise of the Beast was going to be, you know, several factions: Maximals, Autobots, Decepticons, Terracons, and Predacons. And we were like, okay, so where are the Predacons? Because the first trailer, you know, was, I would say, probably close to 2 minutes, I think, if I'm correct, maybe even over. We got no sight of Predacons. But actually we did. This time we do. And it's actually a bit interesting. This kind of reminds me of the Netflix Transformers War for Cybertron trilogy series. You know, there was Siege, Earthrise, and Kingdom. Say what you will about the show, but actually the last chapter, Kingdom, did have, you know, the classic Predacons in there, but they did something a bit different with Scorpionox. There was actually kind of an army of Scorpionox. It was kind of like the henchmen, the drones. There was several episodes where there was multiple Scorpionox during the fight, so it was actually kind of interesting. So they're actually kind of taking that, you know, that detail, that different twist on Scorpionox from the show and doing it with this, because actually in that, end battle at the volcano, I'm assuming it's like a volcano, there is like hundreds of Scorpionox. I'm assuming that's the character. I mean, it's a scorpion, there were several of them. They could have changed the name, I don't know, but it probably is Scorpionox, and I think that looks super cool. I do hope maybe they involve other Predacons. I guess this could be kind of, you know, the foreshadow of maybe having a Beast Wars Megatron or a G1 Megatron. Maybe that could be for the second or third film. This might be like a bit of a hint, you know, we're gonna get some other Predacons, like maybe Dinobot or Pterosaur or Waspinator. But yeah, that would be pretty cool. And I mean, it is actually kind of interesting. So, like, how is, you know, I actually do have a bit of a question. How is Scorpionox involved in this? Is he, you know, the henchman of Scourge, or was he, like, created by Unicron, like, that's his army? Or maybe Megatron, like, teamed up with Scourge and Unicron to fight the Maximals? Maybe Megatron's just kind of off-screen in this entire film, or maybe they're waiting to reveal him. I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, you know, like Unicron, they were keeping this extremely hush-hush for now, for a while, you know, because with the first trailer, most people, kind of myself included, were just like, okay, Scourge, he's the only villain in this film. A lot of people were, I think, were thinking that, but then with this trailer, of course, we were definitely proved wrong. So maybe they'll keep it quiet until the actual film release, June 9th or June 8th. They'll keep Megatron a secret, which I would be perfectly fine with. But yeah, that was another very major thing. We actually did get to see more of Wheeljack, which is pretty cool. Not that much. They did show him actually in his robot form in that end battle, and of course the highway scene, which I do quite like. And it's kind of interesting, because recently I've actually kind of seen a change of mind about his design, because, you know, when the Wheeljack design was first revealed or kind of leaked, people hated it, but now it actually kind of appears some people like it. If you want to know the truth, I've never had a huge problem with it. It's an okay design, not my favorite, but yeah, we actually got to see him more. We did see Rhinox actually at one of the end battles, RC's like riding on top of Rhinox, which I think looks so cool. I do hope maybe we see Rhinox's robot mode, because I think he's the only character so far. I could be wrong, but I think he's the only character of this, you know, the main cast. I don't think we've seen his robot mode at all. I think all the other characters we've seen both, you know, both forms of some sort. You know, maybe a small scene or a small glimpse, but I don't think we've seen his mode at all, which is a bit interesting. Another thing is we actually got to see Nightbird. So for a while now, actually, I don't think in the first trailer, I think in the first trailer, the teaser, we only saw Nightbird for a very short glimpse. She was like flying in that end volcano battle, but it was super, super fast, so I don't even count that. But this trailer, we actually got to see a few scenes of her in her sports car mode and robot mode, which I think is pretty cool. We actually get to see her transform and fly, which I'm actually really glad. We just, do also see her in a scene where they're actually emerging from water. We do get to see Battle Trap's robot mode, which we did get to see that in the teaser, so that's not, I would say, anything crazy. But yeah, I'd say that's really all of the major points, but yeah, we do have yet to hear the voice of actually Battletrap or Nightbird, so we'll have to wait and see about that. There is one last thing I do have to mention. So this, we'll have to see how this turns out. I do have a bit of a worry. I'm kind of skeptical on this, but I feel like the very last scene of the trailer, it's kind of after the entire, you know, volcano battle, that end scene that we're, you know, really hoping to see in the theaters, really wanting to see. We actually do see Mirage throw this, like, glove, this, like, gadget to Noah, the main male character there, and it, like, transforms into, like, a suit, because the scene following that, Noah, we can assume it's Noah, well, there's a person in this suit kind of riding on top of Bumblebee, and Bumblebee's, like, partially transforming, and he's, you know, taking out some of the Scorpionox, and the Predacons or Terracons, and, like, the person, I'm not gonna confirm and say it's Noah, it probably is, most likely, but he's like riding on top of there, so I don't know how to feel about that. Apparently, I think they probably are trying to do kind of a reference or a bit of a, you know, nod to the 1986 film with the entire, you know, Exo Suit thing with Spike and Daniel, which in that film, I thought it was okay, because, you know, they used that for protection to breathe in space and stuff like that. That makes sense. With this, I do hope this is not too much in the film. I hope they might just use the suit for protection. Is that it? Because I'm a bit worried that they're going to turn this into something like from Transformers Energon. If you watch the Transformers Energon show, there was that human character, I'm pretty sure his name was Kicker. He had that Exo Suit, that, you know, suit, and he actually, like, fought the Decepticons and the main characters, and I never understood that. To be honest, right now, I have to say, I do not like Transformers Energon. I think it's probably one of my least favorite Transformers shows, period. For that reason and others. So hopefully, if they just want to use that suit as, like, protection, you know, or barely in the film, I'm fine with that. Hopefully it doesn't become, like, a pivotal or important part, because I don't know about that. That's just my opinion. Or maybe they're here's a possible theory, maybe they're trying to do kind of like the Apex armor from Transformers Prime. Maybe they'll do something like that. I don't know. That's just really just speculation. But actually, do let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think of this trailer, and what do you think of the whole kind of Exo Suit thing they're doing with the Noah? Do you agree with my opinion? Do you think they shouldn't use it that much, or do you actually like it? I mean, I think it worked for the 1986 film, but, you know, it wasn't in the film that much, and, you know, they didn't really play a huge important part. Like, Daniel used it one time to save his dad. That was fine. You know, he used it to breathe in space. That was also fine. Maybe he's using that, because it does kind of appear, maybe someone actually did have a theory. I watched someone else's breakdown. They had a theory in that battle. They're actually on Unicron, like the planet. They're fighting on Unicron, which I think would be pretty cool. I always assumed that was Earth, but maybe I'm wrong. So maybe that's why he has that suit to breathe in on Unicron, because maybe he's like up in the atmosphere or something, or like in space or something. Who knows? But I do hope you enjoyed this breakdown. I do apologize if it was like all over the place, because there is just so much to talk about, because there's just so much going on. But I do hope you enjoyed. Of course, let me know your thoughts on the trailer in the comment section down below. And of course, lots more Rise of the Beast content, just news. Hopefully, maybe we'll get a second trailer before the film is released. And of course, I'll see you next time.